We begin with an unexpected announcement. New Zealand's Prime Minister says she's resigning and will be stepping down in just a matter of weeks. Speaking at a Labour Party retreat, Jacinda Ardern got choked up as she said she doesn't have the energy to lead government anymore, won't be seeking re-election, and announced the end date for her time in office. Here she is.
This summer, I had hoped to find a way to prepare not just for another year, but another term, because that is what this year requires. I have not been able to do that. And so today I'm announcing that I will not be seeking re-election, and that my term as Prime Minister will conclude no later than the 7th of February.
Well, clearly an emotional moment for the Prime Minister, whose time in office brought her international recognition. World leaders have praised her empathetic handling of several major crises like the COVID-19 pandemic, the 2019 Christchurch terror attack, and a deadly volcanic eruption that same year. But her popularity at home has waned recently amid a slowing economy and rising inflation. CNN's Christy Lustout joins me now from Hong Kong. Christy, so take us through the reasons behind the decision and the reaction.
Yeah, Kim, this announcement stunned many people in New Zealand and around the world. And according to political pundits, if Jacinda Ardern stayed in power, she'd be facing a bruising political battle ahead. So it would be better for her to leave on a high note. But according to Jacinda Ardern herself, and we heard from her directly at a press conference earlier today, she simply does not have the energy to stand for re-election in October. And that is why she is standing down as Prime Minister in early February. New Zealand's youngest female prime minister strove to bring compassion and empathy to politics, values tested by a string of once-in-a-generation crises.
We encountered a major biosecurity incursion, a domestic terror event, a major natural disaster, a global pandemic, and an economic crisis.
In 2019, when a far-right terrorist targeted 2 mosques in the city of Christchurch, killing 51 people, Ardern embraced the Muslim community.
We are one, they are us. Tato, tato. Assalamu alaikum, we rahmet Allah, we barakatuh.
Weeks later, her government successfully banned military-style semi-automatic weapons like the one used in the attack.
She showed the heart not only of a leader, but of a mother.
Ardern became a mother in 2018 during her first full year in office, taking just 6 weeks off for maternity leave. A young, unmarried woman from a modest background, Ardern defied norms and earned a global reputation, outsized for leader of just under 5 million people. But at home, Ardern won 2 general elections, including a landslide victory in 2020, but public support dipped in the last of her 5.5 years in office. Tough COVID-19 pandemic restrictions and the economic troubles that followed the virus damaged Ardern politically. In December, her Labour Party lost an important by-election to the Conservative National Party.
I think the real reason Ardern's going is that she's lost popularity. So the opinion polls here have really plummeted for her government and for her personally. And it's going to be a very tough election for her government to win.
Ardern admitted Thursday that she doesn't have the energy for that political fight.
I know what this job takes, and I know that I no longer have enough in the tank to do it justice. It's that simple.
As for what's next, Ardern says she has no professional plans beyond her last day in office. She says she's looking forward to spending time with her family, to being there for her 4-year-old daughter when she starts school, and to finally get married to her partner, television host Clark Gayford. Domestically, inside New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern has been facing down a number of political headwinds as voters focus on issues like the rising cost of living or the specter of recession. But internationally, she has been hailed for being a strong progressive voice and for being a strong leader. I'm going to share a couple of international reactions to her announcement that she plans to resign. This from the Prime Minister of Australia, saying that Jacinda Ardern has shown the world how to lead with intellect and strength. She has demonstrated that empathy empathy and insight are powerful leadership qualities. Jacinda has been a fierce advocate for New Zealand, an inspiration to so many, and a great friend to me, unquote. And this from Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, who said, "Thank you, Jacinda Ardern, for your partnership and your friendship, and for your empathetic, compassionate, strong, and steady leadership over these past several years. The difference you've made is immeasurable. I'm wishing you and your family nothing but the best, my friend," unquote. Jacinda Ardern will resign as Prime Minister on February the 7th. Back to you.
All right, appreciate it. Chris Liu Stout in Hong Kong. And for more on this, let's bring in Lara Greaves, Senior Lecturer of New Zealand Politics and Public Policy at the University of Auckland. Thank you so much for being here with us. So, for many, this comes as a huge shock. Are you surprised as well?
Incredibly shocked. I don't think any of us woke up this morning expecting that Ardern would resign. We were kind of expecting in these next couple of weeks an announcement of sorts around what the election date would be, but instead the announcement was election date and then this whole resignation. Incredibly shocked. No one really expected this.
All right, so we just saw that package from Chris Liu Stout there, sort of looking at some of the factors here behind this. Why do you think she's stepping down?
Well, I would actually kind of caution anyone not taking her at face value. I think everyone's tired, everyone's worn out from sort of the COVID experience, and I think we can expect our leaders reasonably to be worn out. I do agree that she's had some pressures from political opponents and that the 2023 election looked like it would be very close for her. But generally and genuinely, she has had like an incredibly challenging term. We had that world-leading COVID response. She had the Christchurch terrorist attack. Through all of this, she was also a mother during this time. So it's been an incredibly stressful 5 or 6 years. And I mean, yeah, she needs a rest. So I think fundamentally she's got political challenges, but we can kind of take her at face value.
We were talking about sort of, her fading popularity. I mean, she was praised as a great communicator. She has a degree in communications. She had a fantastic ability to connect with voters. Did something break in that connection, do you think?
So what has happened over time is 2017, when Ardern won, it was quite a close election. It was one of those quirks of our electoral system that she ended up being Prime Minister. And so what we saw after the 2020 election, which was a record high for Labour and a win that we never thought we'd see under our system, we've seen this return to politics as normal. And part of that has happened because of those global economic pressures. We've got this cost of living crisis. We're facing inflation like many other countries are. So part of it has been sort of coming down from these record high levels, but other things have been economic challenges and having to face all of these policy challenges up against the background of COVID. So she has faced declining polls, and we're definitely thinking it will be quite a tight election in 2023, regardless of who is Prime Minister.
There seems to be a bit of a trend of female world leaders being forced out early, having either their party or the voters turn on them quickly. Is there a gender factor here at all?
I think there's a little bit of a gender factor, but I wouldn't put it down to that at all. I would say this is not a forcing out. This is her retiring on her terms in a way. However, we have seen unprecedented hate and vitriol towards Jacinda Ardern. That's something that as a New Zealand political scientist I would never expect to see. It's not part of our political culture, but there's something about Ardern that has meant that she has been targeted, and we have seen new sort of imported hate in New Zealand, and that's really concerning and potentially part of her resignation.
Now, she seemed to captivate the world's attention, not usual for a small country like New Zealand, I'd say, particularly because she was seen in contrast to the rise of populists like Donald Trump. You've outlined some of the highlights of her time in office. What do you think her legacy will be?
Well, I like to think about what will be on her Wikipedia page, or in the years to come, what we'll be teaching students about her. What will those top line things be? It will be the crisis Prime Minister, kind of rewriting the rule book on how to react in a crisis. The hugging of the members of the Muslim community after the Christchurch terrorist attack, the wearing the headscarf and respecting their cultural traditions, whilst being still a bit tough on guns. The response to COVID, making us the team of 5 million and then going hard and going early, which were her words. I think that those will be the fundamental markers of her leadership, and I think she will go down as a great Prime Minister in New Zealand history fundamentally.
All right, we'll have to leave it there, but certainly a fascinating legacy for people like you to analyze in the years to come. Lara Greaves with the University of Auckland, thank you so much. Appreciate it.